People and Places, English 3. Good afternoon. My name is Montserrath Contreras Cárdenas. First, I will talk about the cases and effects of climate change. Climate change due directly or indirectly to human activity that alters the composition of the global atmosphere and that goes beyond natural climate variability. When we burn fossil fuels, exploit livestock, or cut down forests beyond measure, we emit greenhouse gases that warm the planet and endanger our survival. Deforestation. Thanks to photosynthesis, trees absorb CO2 and return it to the atmosphere in the form of oxygen, thus acting as natural regulators of the climate. Combustion of fossil fuels. The combustion of coal, oil, and gas produces carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide and nitrogen fertilizers. These types of fertilizers are increased used in agriculture and large amount of nitrous oxide. Now I will talk about invasive species and human migration. Once an exotic species is introduced, established, and dispersed, it is capable of causing multiple impacts. The impacts are from the absence of control measures that the species have naturally in the place where they are native, such as predators or climatic factors, in addition to the behavior and the biological and ecological characteristics that make them more efficient in the use of resources compared to native species. The impact can be summarized as impact to the biodiversity. They affect native species through predation, competition for breeding sites and food resource, and are capable of transmitting disease or parasites. Ecosystem. They can alter both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. They cause physical and chemical damage to the soil and water, thus altering the natural habitat of other species and consequently the trophic networks. For example, they can cause erosion, changing the frequency of fires, drying out of bodies water. For social, they are related to the alteration and disabling of sites used for recreation and sports activities, loss of use and customs, and disintegration of communities due to migration, due to loss of jobs, due to impacts caused by the species. In health, invasive alien species can affect human health, causing minimal damage such as minor skin irritations, allergies, poisoning, stings, painful bites, or being vector of disease that can seriously compromise people's health. The last one, on economic, they are derived from the cost of control, eradication, and monitoring actions, as well as damage to hydraulic and urban infrastructure, damage to crops, decrease in tourism, and loss of employment, among others. Economic loss derived from impacts on health and on biodiversity and ecosystems, which are difficult to calculate, must also be considered. The next one is explain their effect in the future. The global climate is projected to continue to change over this century and beyond. The magnitude of climate change beyond the next few decades depends primarily on the amount of air-trapping gases emitted globally and how sensitive the Earth's climate is to those emissions. Temperatures will continue to rise. The temporary rise has not been and will not be uniform or smooth across the country or over time. More droughts and heat waves. Summer temperatures are projected to continue rising, and a reduction of soil moisture. By the end of this century, what have been once in 20-year extreme heat days are projected to occur every 2 or 3 years over most of the nation. Global sea level has risen by about 8 inches since reliable record keeping began in 1980. It is projected to rise another 1 to 8 feet by 2100. This is the result of added water from melted land ice and the expansion of seawater as it warms. In the next several decades, storm surges and high tides could combine with sea level rise and a land subsidence to further increase flooding in many regions. Ocean waters will therefore continue to warm and sea level will continue to rise from many centuries and rise equal to or higher than those to the current century. And so to continue with this presentation, I will give you some solutions to contribute to climate change. The first one is recycle plastic and aluminum bottles. Second one, save energy and if it is possible, use cleaner energy. Third one, do not waste water and use only what it is necessary. Then use electric cars and do not pollute too much. That the companies regulate themselves so as not to pollute the air so much. Take care of the flora and fauna and respect endangered animals and reserve areas. Thank you for your attention.